DRS.
To all those who are, after Tuesday's election, very nervous, there's filled with anxiety has been spoken to, you are safe in Chicago.
That is the mayor of Chicago, Rahm Emanuel, speaking in regards to Donald Trump wanting to round up 2 to 3 million illegal immigrants. Jim Ryan is covering this story. Jim, some local mayors are pushing back on President-elect Trump. What's going on?
Well, they are, and it's something that mayors have been doing. They did it all the way through the Obama administration, too. There were communities, especially here in Texas, that were pushing back against Washington, and especially with the executive orders. This time, it's Donald Trump saying that federal funding to the so-called sanctuary cities, and by the way, there are about 300 around the country, small communities and big cities, that those communities face the loss of federal funding if they refuse to check the immigration status of low-level offenders, check their immigration status, and if they're here illegally, to turn them over to immigration officials. People like Rahm Emanuel, the mayors of Los Angeles, New York, and other communities have said that they aren't going to do that, that they're going to protect their citizens, whether they're there legally or not.
What is considered a low-level crime?
A traffic violation, something like that, some minor infraction, nonviolent offender. Now, once you move up into that broader class, that higher class of crime, then I think these communities do go ahead and then check the status. Although in many cases they're consumed then with prosecuting the higher level crime. Trump says that he wants that to change, that he wants this blanket policy to go into effect. So it's sort of a one way that he wants to try to make good in this campaign promise to end sanctuary cities.
That was Rahm Emanuel from Chicago. How many other mayors are talking about this?
Well, lots of them. I think every community that considers itself a sanctuary city, and again, there are degrees. There may be policies in place. It may be, as in here in Dallas, for example, McGraw, there's not a formal policy in place, but the mayor, the police chief, the sheriff have all sort of said, look, we got other things to worry about instead of checking people's immigration status. But a place like Santa Fe, New Mexico, I think is a good example. They get about $6 million a year. They will this year, at least, in federal grant money for the airport, for city buses, for the soup kitchen, for other local organizations. They face that loss, and they may be hard-pressed to replace that money, whereas something like New York or Los Angeles would have an easier time doing that. Santa Fe may look at dropping its sanctuary status.
Yeah. Also, I know we were talking about Chicago, Dallas, L.A. too. Didn't the L.A. mayor come out and say something very similar?
Yeah, very similar. And that may be, New York and Los Angeles, obviously, and Chicago right up there, three of the biggest cities in the country and three of the biggest sanctuary communities, the places where mayors and police chiefs have said that they don't intend to go along with the Trump administration blanket policy on checking immigration status.
Yeah, Jim Ryan, ABC News correspondent, live in Dallas. Jim, thanks for checking in this morning on the Big 550 KTRS.
Thanks, McGraw.
You got it. 624 R&R Sanitation Porta Potties, latest